All right, everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about basically how to get more traffic or more leads to your service business. So this is going to apply mostly to local service businesses. So if you're a contractor, you're a hair salon, a restaurant, a dentist, a clinic, any type of service business where you offer your services locally, this is probably going to apply to you most. So we're going to cover this in this video. We're going to cover how to optimize your review sites to get more traffic, more leads to your business. So basically said, your review sites, you got your Google My Business, you got your Yelp, Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau, TripAdvisor, and so on. All these sites can have an effect in terms of how many visitors, how many people basically see your business online, and how many of them end up contacting you. So we're going to talk about how to optimize these to the fullest, to the best of at least my knowledge, and how we could try to get you to rank higher, number one on Google My Business, get you more reviews on Google My Business, and so on and so forth. We're going to talk about the little nuances there. Now, just as an overview to show you the whole funnel. So if you can imagine your service business as a map, well, you can imagine here that you want to get some more traffic, some more leads to your business, some more people to see your business. And these are all the various ways to do so. You got your search engine results, so optimizing your SEO. Well, that's a redundancy, but doing SEO, social media, your maps, optimization, directories, and so on. Then you want to convert those leads into traffic, that traffic into leads. So basically your online reputation is going to help with that, your website, maybe even your content. And then you want to convert those leads into actual clients with your sales processes and the different optimizations. If ever you want videos on all these other things, I have some on my channel, but now this video, we're going to cover basically review sites. So first things first is going to be your Google My Business. It's going to be the most important one. Basically said, most people are going to have their Google My Businesses. Optimizing it's going to help you rank higher, and it's going to help you increase conversion rates. So increase the likelihood that someone sees your Google My Business and actually presses on it to go to your website or contacts you. So we want to increase those two factors. So increase the likelihood you rank higher and increase the likelihood they click on it and actually go and see your business. And as for the other sites, it's going to be the same optimizations, but a lot less intensive, just because number one, they don't have as many options in those. Like Yelp, there's not that much information you could put. Trustpilot, same thing. But if you could just apply the ideas, the strategies behind all of the optimizations we're going to talk for Google My Business, they're going to most likely apply to the rest. Basically said, for the rest of this here, so Yelp, Trustpilot, so on, you basically want to have your name, your address, your phone number, the name of your business, the address of your business, the phone number of your business, to be the exact same on every single one of them. So basically said, if your business name is Roofing ABC, well, you want it on Yelp to be Roofing ABC. You don't want it to be Roofing ABC Inc. You don't want it to Roofing whatever, because that's going to allow these search engines and all these sites to recognize your business across all these other platforms and know which one is which. So it's called optimizing your NAP or consistent NAP. Name, address, phone number. So having the same one everywhere ensures that Google or Bing, whatever search engine people are going to be searching you on, recognizes your business across all these platforms, and that increases the likelihood that you show up higher on Google. So it's actually an SEO technique to get these sites, and also in some ways ensures that you rank higher on those platforms themselves. So without further ado, let's get into actual optimizations of Google My Business. I'm going to go through it with this checklist. It seems to be the easiest way to explain it. I also have, and I made a video about this, which I'm actually going to cover at the same time with this checklist. It's the Google My Business pack ranking factors. So how to optimize your ranking of Google My Business, as well as some conversion factors for your Google My Business, but online presence in general. And then we're going to talk maybe about some suspension factors. I'm going to go over, this whole list is extensive. These are all the things you could basically do. We're going to cover the top 10, top 20, which in most cases is going to be enough to really get the best results. And this, I'm going to give a shout out to White Spark. So White Spark, it's a channel on YouTube. They actually did the study to have all this information put. So I can't take any credit for this, but I'm going to be using it for this video. So now if we go to your Google My Business, first thing you want to do, if you already have one or you're going to have one, is optimize your title and description. That's going to be the most important part. And the issue with a title is that the better title, the more keywords you have in your title, the better you rank on Google. That's the reality of it in your Google My Business. Now, the issue with that is that you're not supposed to have any other keywords in your title. It's against Google's guidelines to have any other keywords in your title that isn't your business's name. So if your business name is Roofing ABC, and I'm going to keep using the example, it's going to be easier. So your business name is Roofing ABC. You don't want it to be Roofing ABC in New York City. That in New York City can get you suspended on Google My Business, or it could get you unranked and stuff like that. The issue with that is that it's actually the strongest ranking factor. So if you go to here, well, they say it's first is the category, but in any case, you see keywords in the Google My Business title. So it's a kind of a strategy, this more advanced strategy, but what you could do is you could change your legal name of your business to something that includes keywords. And then you could use that through your Google My Business to actually rank higher. So if you want to do it the legitimate way, you could do it against Google's guidelines. That's up to you. That's up to your risk factor. I'm not going to comment on that. But if you're trying to do it legitimate, you're going to want to include what your business name is about. Now, if you're doing it and you're finding a way around it, like getting your business reinstated, the name reinstated, you could include the service and the town of the title. So let's say ABC Roofing, Montreal. Now the thing is, maybe your business ABC Roofing, so you could say ABC Roofing Montreal for flat and commercial and residential roofs. So you could add some keywords there. Beware of using the words that aren't in your business name and so on and so forth. So if that's something that's possible, then you can knock this out. Use long tail exact match keywords in the description. Now, in terms of what Google says, having keywords in your description doesn't actually impact the rankings of your Google My Business profile, but you always take and you leave what Google says about these things. So in a sense, it's worth it to do it, because at this point, what else is your description going to serve for? You want to basically use all 750 characters of your description and put as many keywords as possible in there. So if you check our SEO videos, we have videos about SEO. There's a strategy that I talk about on how to get the best keywords. So what are your best keywords for your business at your certain level? And you could use those within that description. You could use ChatGPT, you give it, your 100 keywords, you say, give me a description for my Google My Business that try to use the most keywords while staying readable, and they're going to be able to build you that and so on. So you want to use some long tail exact match keywords, so basically exactly what people are searching for on Google My Business, on Google Maps, and that's going to increase the likelihood that you rank higher potentially. Now, you have your services and your products. So within Google, you can add all your services in Google's predetermined recommendations. What I'm talking about, that is, let's say here, the category basically. So you have your categories in Google. They're going to recommend you some. So they're going to say, if you're a roofing contractor, and again, this applies to all the other businesses, but this is going to be the example. If you're a roofing contractor, you're going to be, let's say, writing your business name, and Google's going to recommend you something. It's going to recommend you roofing contractor, roof installer, whatever types of recommendations. Your primary one, you want it to be the one that it's not the specific one, it's the broadest one that applies to you. So let's say if you're a roofing contractor, but you specialize in flat roofs, you don't want your primary category to be flat roofing, because what happens is the search volume, not a lot of people are searching for flat roofing, they're just searching for roofing. So if you're going into flat roofing, you might give yourself lose the edge, because when competitors will be ranking for all types of roofing. So whenever somebody's searching roofing, and you wouldn't. So your primary category, you want it to be broad, but you want it to be the one that they recommend. So the reason why is that I believe that with Google, the way they're set up, the ones they recommend to you are the ones they think that have the best likelihood, like the way their algorithms work, it's going to help you rank basically higher. So in any case, first thing you want to do is have the primary category, and then for all the other categories, they're going to ask you all the other services you have. You want to add as many of those recommended ones you can as possible, and then after that, you want to add also the ones that you might think of yourself. Then you want to write down, but those you add at the end. So that will be the idea there for your services. Here you have the user sell a product feature to your services, can add services in the product section. So now we're talking about service businesses. There's a section to put products in. You could use that and just not put a product and just put your service. And what that does is that when somebody's searching on your Google My Business, so maybe I could give you guys an example. So I have a case study here, I believe, yeah. So if I go to see this Google My Business we worked with, they have their products, which in theory, they're doing shipping, they do shipping. So they do shipping through DHL and through Campar. And so we have the products written here. So instead of being actual products, they're the services they offer, or you could say the products they offer. And it just shows to the person that when they're going through it, they could see it. So you could do that for your services like that, or let's say in the case of a barbershop here, we put the services that they offer, so standard haircuts, kids haircuts, fade haircuts, and so on. So you could add your products there. Makes it slidable, people can interact with it, and you could put a little bit of information there. So something to consider for your products that could be good to help you rank higher and in general have a better conversion rate. Now let's go back here. So sell a product, you can add GIFs. This is an advanced / side technique, but you can actually add GIFs to the products to stand out more than images. So switching the file type to the GIF to JPEG before uploading it. So basically, if you go to the product section that I was showing before, you could actually add a GIF to it. And the way you could do it is you change the text of the image. Instead of saying .jpeg, you switch it to .gif. And when you have a GIF and you're trying to put it into the products, Google's not going to allow you to put the GIF. And so what you want to do is that GIF, the file of your GIF, you want to change the .gif at the end to .jpeg, and that circumvents Google's system. This might not apply in nowadays. This might be gone as a technique, but it's something that you could do in the past. So you try it out, you see, you take a GIF, you upload it there, and what that does is that now that space where people see, let's say in the case of the hair salon, they see the services. Well, now it's something that's moving, and so it's attracting more the eye. It's keeping people a lot more engaged, and it's giving them more information in the smaller space. So a good way to like an extra tip here. In terms of the address, you want to use the address closest to your target customer. So basically said, if your customer is, let's say if you're a local service business, if you're serving at your service business, you want your address to be where you are. But if you have maybe multiple offices and people are not coming to your offices, you're going to them, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're a roofing company again, you want the address, the main address of your My Business, to be closest to the center of the business, of the market, let's say. So when people are searching for you most, or where you most want to appear, that's where you want to be. So it's the busiest place in the town, it's the most occupied place in the town. That's where that office that you have there, you want that address to be represented. So that's what you're gonna have to use there. You could consider renting a second office for a more strategic location. So this is a strategy, it's more advanced as well, but you can basically get a bunch of offices that you might use, and then for cheap, and you get a 2.5 type of office where there's not much going on in it, but you use it to actually get a Google My Business profile. Obviously, you need to use it. It's against Google's guidelines to have a empty office, so as to have actual use to your business. But in any case, that's a strategy people use. So if you're going for advanced strategies, you're a bigger business, you might be able to get a bunch of those and have some utility for those. In terms of the images, you want to post some new or recycled images frequently. So once every 3 days, you can use high quality images to showcase your services. I would say the idea with the images is that when people go on your Google My Business profile, they'll click on your images. When they click on your images, they're going to see maybe posted 50 weeks ago, posted a year ago, posted 3 years ago. So the idea with that is that if you're constantly posting, even if it's the same ones, obviously it's better if it's new, but if you only have recycled ones, you have a list of 30 pictures, you can constantly just post those. Just remember yourself, every 3 days you just go on and you post. There's probably some automations to do this. And what that does is that whenever somebody's going on your profile, they see the fact that you posted recently. Now, the idea with that is that if somebody goes to your business profile and they see that you posted last year, or they see that you posted 3 days ago, obviously there's a lot more likelihood that they're going to contact you if they see 3 days ago, because they're going to think, okay, your business is alive, your business is sharp, your business is on it, like it's active. And so there's a high likelihood they're going to answer to my inquiry, and so I'm going to contact them. So that's a little strategy there for perception in a sense. Using high quality images just goes without saying. You could do your services, you could do before and after images, whatever images you find works maybe best for your ads or your content, you want to post them on your Google My Business as well. Keeps the same principle. Your hours, keep your hours accurate, and you could update them for holidays and special occasions. That's going to help just with overall experience with people with your business, especially if you're a service business where people come to you. So if you're a restaurant, you can get a lot of bad reviews. If maybe on Christmas you say it's open, people show up to your restaurant and you end up being closed. So you might get some issues there, you might get some calls, and so you could do it in advance. You could set up basically in Google's calendar. Booking link, you want to add a booking link using appointment booking software or a contact form on the website. So if you have a booking type business, you have the opportunity to put that link within Google My Business. So it might be a good idea for you to do so. And some other miscellaneous tips: ensure consistent contact information across all the platforms. So the NAP that I was talking about before, you basically want to have this present within Google My Business. So the way you write the address on Google My Business, you want to be the same on the other ones. The way you write the number, the way you write your business name. So again, if you're using the business name strategy to try to get the title and description, if you're trying to get the title and description in a way to get more higher rankings on Google My Business, then you have to optimize it and adapt it for every single one as well. So it's going to have to be consistent everywhere. Then you want to create a profile short name with the business name. It's a little option you have there. How much does this have as an effect? Not much. So in any case, you could create it there. It's going to give you the option if you go on your Google My Business profile. You can fill out your Q&A section with a bunch of common questions. So if you have a lot of common questions that people are asking on calls or through your emails or through your DMs, you could basically ask them yourself and answer them yourself. And so you could basically just give people all the questions, all the answers to the questions they're asking, because maybe people are not going to take the time to do it. And so you could do it basically for them. So this could be a good way to do it. In our case, we did, 5 questions, 5 main questions, 5 main answers. We left them there, and usually people don't ask anymore. You could create a Google My Business site, even if it's not shown live. This will help with SEO. So this is an SEO strategy, more advanced. How worth it is it? It's very difficult to decipher, but it's a link building strategy basically. So you're getting a backlink to your website, because within your Google My Business site, you're linking you're linking to your main website. And so you can create one. It's going to be a .my business or .google my business site, .site or something like that. And so you could create one for free. You don't have to put that much information into it and so on. But in any case, more of a site technique, I could say. Now for some continuous optimizations, we're talking about adding some images and videos before, but same principle, add some photos regularly, at least once a week, I would say, just to keep it fresh, to keep it looking like you're active. If it says a month ago, it might indicate to people that you might be closed. So you want to keep it active. You want to update your main image seasonally. So this is especially true for contractors. So if you're doing services that are outside, the idea is that if I'm a client and I'm looking at a Google My Business profile, and I have 2 competitors, I have 2 variations. I have one where right now it's winter outside, and I would see their Google My Business profile, and I would see that there's a roof with snow, and that there's guys on the roof with snow. Now I'm going to be more likely to contact them than the person who has the image of the roof without the snow. So there's summer images. So basically you can adapt those through the seasons. It gives also the impression that your business is up to date and constant. It just allows people to understand, okay, you do offer your services in winter. Now there's a higher likelihood they end up contacting you, because if they don't think you do it, there's a lower likelihood they're actually going to end up contacting you and take the time to call you. So that's you got there. In terms of videos, you want to post videos more often than photos, as they autoplay and map results. Post as many videos as you can, post all the videos you can. I don't know what's the limit. I'm not sure about the limit of time that you could put a video, like the length of the video. In any case, post as long videos as you want, post all of them. Always helps. And same thing, you could add them regularly with the rest. For Google post at least 3 times per week. This is just rule of thumb. The idea with Google Posts, and I believe this is still the case, is that they actually get deleted every 7 days. And so Google Posts are going to be the posts here. So maybe we could give you guys an example again. Take a little time to load. So maybe I could give you the example here. So these are going to be the Google Posts. So for them, in this case, these are automated. You can use software to automate these, and this is just going to give people more information. And so you can make it a Q&A. You could have, in the case of, let's say, Elko Roofing, yeah, that's it. So we had question and answers. So they click on this. It's like a mini blog. So they have more information about the business. So before they click, so some people might go there. How many people visit this? Not a lot. One thing that it does help is it takes up more space in terms of your search results. And so if somebody's searching for your business, or your business pops up, your Google My Business profile pops up when they're searching on normal Google, you could say, it's going to take up more space. You see how it takes up more space than if you had, no products, no blog, no profiles, no anything like that. So you would be basically half the size you would take, and that reduces the likelihood that they actually notice your business. So that's that there. Now for content within these Google posts, attention grabbing images, this is the size of the images, so preferably that they fit good in this frame, not stock photos. Include text up to 1,500 characters with links, hashtags, and keywords. Again, these optimizations, they're worth it in the sense that if you are to do Google posts, might as well do these. But again, they're not, they're going to be the driving factor in your business. It's all the other things we talked about, and the list of top improvements that are going to be a lot more worth it. So that's going to be pretty much it there. So include the text, link directly to your sales page or booking forms on your website. Now, in terms of your competitors, this is something that you could do constantly, is that you can report fake reviews, fake listings, inappropriate content that violates Google's policies. So again, if we're talking about the strategy of the titles, because it's the most obvious ones, if you notice a lot of business owners in your market that have a title that is not what their actual business title is, what you could do is you could report them. You could escalate that report. You could try to push that report to Google, and that's going to increase the likelihood that they get suspended. And obviously now depends on your tolerance, depends on the type of strategy you want to play with. But this is a strategy that if they're breaking the rules and you're not breaking the rules and you want to play by the rules, you can report them. They get ranked a little bit lower for that period of time or until they change it or they even get their listing removed, and that's going to make yours pop higher. So maybe if you're in a season, it's a competitive season, it would be the best way to do it. Again, this is going to depend on you, your type of strategy, your type of relationship with these competitors, because some of these competitors might actually be businesses you're working with. In any case, this is the way you can play it. In terms of the Q&A, get thumbs up on the important questions and answers and pin them to the top. You need 3 thumbs up. So if you manage to do it and you have a bunch of Q&As and maybe people were asking questions that were, that weren't pertinent or that were stupid or outdated, what you could do is you could you could get thumbs up. So you get 3 accounts on Google, you thumbs up your own questions or the best questions, and those are going to pop to the top. And so that's going to decrease the likelihood that those bad ones are going to appear. So if you have some bad ones, that's a strategy you can do there. In terms of keywords, you want to include keywords in image files, names and geotags. So if ever you're sending an email, so your alt text on your image, sorry, not email, image. If you're uploading the image, you want to have some keywords within that image. That helps a little bit in terms of Google SEO. So something to keep in mind there. So instead of just having, random text, you have actually like roofing contractor in Montreal.png. That's going to be your file name or whatever, your alt text. And you can upload those that way. In terms of reviews, now obviously we're talking about the review site aspect of Google My Business, which, in a sense, Google My Business covers more than just reviews. It's a review site. It's also a map. It's a directory. So it's a bunch of things at once. In any case, for the reviews, you basically want as many reviews as possible. So this kind of stupid saying because it just is what it is. But if you have old clients, new clients, recurring clients, you have clients that you did little services for, big services for, all types of you did freebies for, ask for reviews. Ask them for reviews, ask them by SMS because you're going to get a higher response rate. And I would say do a 3 SMS, maybe not a 3 SMS flow. Maybe if you're doing by email, a 3 email flow. That's going to tend to have the best result in terms of not annoying them and also getting a response. Maybe you stop on a response. If they answer you back, you stop. You just, depending on the strategy you want to play with. But one thing I would recommend 100% is that if you have a list of, let's say, 1,000 clients you've never contacted before, you contact all of them in an email sequence. They've already dealt with your email, so it's going to go into their inbox most likely. You can spread it out in a few days because if you send 1,000 at once, Google might consider that spam. So you might want to do this every 30 a day. That tends to be the right amount. In any case, you send it to them. They receive it. When they receive it, the likelihood that they're going to leave you a review, in our experience, is something like 15%. So that's what we see happening when we started these strategies in the past for our clients. So 15% seems to be the range you could get. So if you have 1,000 clients, you just got yourself 150 reviews. Pretty quickly. And the idea also with asking for reviews, which by the way you could do it through QR codes, at your desk, at your secretary might have a scannable QR code, even a tap card. There's a bunch of little tools you could use. In any case, the more people that notice your business, so the more people go back to your business, you might get some clients from that. So contacting all those old clients, you might get some clients because they might be remembered about your service. They might have forgot about you and now they remembered. They might refer you to people. And then the fact that they're all going to your Google My Business profile all at once, that's going to indicate to Google that you're in high attraction. And so they might rank you higher. And so there's a lot of benefits into doing this. Now, the straightest benefit, the most direct benefit is going to be you're going to get better reviews. The more reviews you have, the higher your conversion rate on Google is. There's a trend where it's basically the more reviews you have, the higher you convert. And the more reviews you have is also a ranking factor for Google to rank you higher. So something to consider there. You can remove negative reviews, so you can flag inappropriate ones once in a while. You can keep flagging them. You can ask other accounts to flag them. So if you're, let's say, a hair salon, you got 10 people in your hair salon working with you, and you see there's a negative review that is libel, that is fake, or it's a scammy, or whatever it may be, what you can do is you can get all 10 people on their own Google My Business profile to all report it at once. What's that going to do? Well, that's going to indicate to Google that there's a high likelihood that this is inappropriate and that they should remove it. If you're only doing it on one account, it's going to get slow. It's not going to be as easy. So if you have employees, you have a team, you have people and you want to get these removed fast, that's the way to do it. You want to contact Google support if flagging doesn't work, but Google is going to be pretty bad at responding for these support requests. Stuff to get their emails, stuff to get their information. Like just in one of our clients, just to get their Google My Business verified, I believe it took like 3 weeks. just to claim back to Google My Business, which they had all the information for, all the documentation, everything was prepared in advance, just the back and forth that was quite long. Certain cases they might be good, but in this situation specifically, prepare for the worst. Responding to reviews, respond to positive reviews with keywords, upsell services, and personalizations. So this is a great way, when you're responding to reviews, there's two things that happen. Is that number one, you're responding to the person that left the review, obviously. And then you're also giving more information to the people who search up reviews. So if they see your answers, and within your answers, they read them a little bit, so they might see what type of business owner you are, what types of reactions you might have. So this is going to apply to negative and positive reviews. What you want to have is that within that, you want to have maybe you upsell some services to that client. So you say, hey, thanks, John, for leaving that review. If ever you need XYZ, we're open 24/7. So, just to call us or something like that. Or, hey, John, thank you for the review. Hope, you might do a personalization more of their service. You resolved an issue that they had. So you could really template it. I believe I have a template in the 12 trainings, which, by the way, you could access for free. So if you go in the description, you're going to have access to 12 trainings. Basically, they cover, they look like this. We have 12 of them covering Google My Business, reviews, SEO, all that type of stuff. So if ever you want to download those, they're going to be linked in the description. In any case, responding to reviews, positive and negative ones, especially I would say the negative ones. If you haven't responded to negative ones, that might have a bad effect on your reputation. And because what happens is that if you have a bad review that seems true or seems factual, and you haven't responded to it, people are going to consider you to be in the wrong. They're just going to assume that the review is true. And what that happens is obviously your reputation takes a hit. So everybody's reading those comments, they're going to think that they're true. Now, may be true, but if you're answering back, at least you're showing concern, you're showing responsiveness, you're showing that you actually care about the reviews that people leave you. And that actually might be a way to reduce the amount of bad reviews you're getting in the future. Because if you're responding to reviews constantly, people are going to be less likely to leave you negative ones. So something to consider there. In terms of filtering reviews, when asking for reviews, you can ask for a review personally, then direct 5-star reviews to Google so they can leave a public review. Redirect lower ratings to a private feedback form. So this is a more advanced trick, but let's say if I was talking about before asking people by email, well, if maybe you have these 50 clients that you're not sure about the service they received and the experience that they had, or maybe they've shown this to content in the past, but you still want to ask them for reviews, what you could do is you could basically ask them to an email, to a form first. So you say, can you fill out this form for a review? If they fill out the form and they say they have a 5-star experience, then you redirect them. As soon as they press 5 stars, then you redirect them to the Google My Business. If they give you a 4-star below, then you redirect them to a form. You redirect them to your contact information so they could call you. What that does is that you're minimizing the risk that by asking people, you're actually getting the bad reviews. Now, this is an extra step. This is going to reduce the likelihood people are actually going to leave you a review on Google My Business, but it's still something that you could do relatively easy. After that, so that's pretty much it. You want to ask for reviews, past customers, current customers. You want to target local guides. This is an extra way to get better reviews in a sense, because local guides are more trusted. They have like that orange check mark. And so you could even use that in your on your website to showcase that you have reviews from local guides. So they're even more trusted reviews. So that's another thing there. In terms of miscellaneous tips, maintain consistent branding across Google My Business and all the online platforms. If you're doing edited images, if you have design elements, you want to be consistent with your website, because you don't want people to go on your Google My Business, see it, click on your website, and get on your website and think they're different businesses. So you want it to be constant. And then optimize all the content for mobile viewing, especially for that. So that's pretty much it for how to optimize your Google My Business profile. And now, like I was saying before, the optimizations we're talking about here, they're going to be more in depth for Google My Business. And then the other sites is going to be the same thing, but just whatever they're going to allow you to do. So let's say in Trustpilot, you could put your business name, your description, you could put some information about it. You can even ask for reviews and so on. But there's a lot less, you can't put this, you can't put that. So in any case, you want to add your app, be the same on every single platform. That's going to improve your SEO. So it's going to improve your search engine rankings. It's going to improve the appearance of your business, because now you're on multiple platforms. If people are searching your business up, now you're going to pop up, for 20 results. So there's a higher so there's like a bunch of these little improvements that you get 5% here, 5% there, 5% there, that bundled together really have value to your business. So that's pretty much it for this video. That's pretty much it on how to optimize your review sites to get more leads and visitors to your business. Now, next videos, I'm going to talk about all the other ways to get more leads. If you want to have a video that covers this whole funnel, I believe one of the initial videos I made, or even some other ones I made recently, talk about this whole funnel in depth. So if you're curious about this whole strategy and how to optimize your business online, that's what we're going to have here. Again, if you want to download the trainings, 12 free trainings in the description, go for it. They're completely free. It's just going to ask you for your email, I believe, a little bit of information, and then that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye-bye.